Hey folks, this is Richard from MinMax Games, and today I'm going to be demonstrating the VR build of Space Pirates and Zombies 2. So the first thing I'm going to go over is the display and orientation systems here. So if I look down in front of me, I can see my mothership down there, and I can also see my tactical HUD display right there in front of me. I'm able to freely look away from my ship, or even completely behind myself if I want to figure out where all the enemy ships are. But we also have controller-like rotation motion, so you don't have to get up off your chair to turn around and see what's going on. In fact, we highly recommend that you do not stand up, as Spaz 2 is very much a seated game in VR. So if I take a look at my motion controls here, you can see on the left, this controls mostly the ship's orientation and thrust, while this one is clearly for shooting stuff. So we're just going to take a quick look at how the controls work. So I'm going to push forward, and you'll notice that the controls are relative to the controller itself. So I can just point the control in the direction I want the ship to go, and it'll fly there. If these controls aren't particularly to your liking, we also have a helmet relative mode as well as full controller support the same way the flat screen mode would work. Combat functions are pretty straightforward. Simply point at something and pull the trigger. You're effectively lasing a target for your ship. I can even turn my head completely away from the ship or even behind myself. As long as my ship can see what I'm pointing at, it'll fire. I'm able to give orders to my ships using the motion controls as well, so all I have to do is point at something and push the appropriate button, and my ships will go over there and attack it for me. It makes it really handy, and it's incredibly satisfying. Ship assembly in VR is a snap. And we also support the hot swap method as well. Okay, we're going to take a look at some map and menu functions now, so you can see that the labels on my controller have changed as the game state has changed. And if you look in front of me here, you'll see a virtual display that's appeared, so this kind of represents your desktop monitor. And all I have to do is point this laser at these various buttons, and you can interact with the menus the same way you would with a mouse. So if you've played Spaz 2 at all with a mouse and keyboard, the VR build should be pretty straightforward, and you should feel pretty at home controlling it. So let's go zoom in here and take a look. You'll see that my beam here will actually extend beyond the virtual display here down to the star map below, so I can point at things and get some information. I can click and drag the map and move it around, or we can even move the ship very much the way you would with a mouse and keyboard. Even our lore screen works in VR as this really strange, surreal, pop-up virtual cyber book thing.
As the UTA fleet arrived at
Well, that concludes our demo for today. I hope everybody enjoyed taking a look at our VR build. If you head over to our Steam page, everything you saw here today should be included in our most up-to-date build. If you're already a Spaz 2 player, you don't need to pay for the game again. It'll all be included in the same package. You just simply have to enable the VR build, and you're good to go. So thanks again for watching, everybody. Have a great day, and see you next time.
Tower 1511 is 11 miles down, you run 1819 right. Hello, 1511, Gemini Tower wind 19010, runway 1 to the right, to the line. Runway 19 right, 7222, 10,000, 134.35. 13435, 202. Southwest Southwest 588, 5000. Southwest 588, so temperate, better proceed during the distinction. Recommending Southwest 588. Helicopter 156 at Side Air. Request the west departure wind November. Helicopter 156 channel 8 air departure 7 base and west southwest cruise plus 14.
Corsec! More like core.
Sick!
Congratulations to all of you who played in the Shell Shock event. Thanks to you and all of your hard work, Turtle now knows which eye he'll be replacing Proxy's face hole with. The Corsec case had the highest stock value at the end of the event, so he'll be picking up the parts and giving Proxy a fancy new blue accoutrement. As for the Cyber Eye case, if you picked one up, you'll be able to open it next week, once, you know, Turtle's finished surgerizing. First Edition Week is live, and for the past 30 hours you've been able to craft First Edition loadout cards. This came along as we're updating Proxy's loadout cards so each edition has the right number of eyeballs. So on all First Edition cards, including ones you own, her model now has the original one with full 20/20 vision. Second Edition cards will stay as they are, all bandaged up, and Third Edition, along with the Cyber Eye loadout card, will have the now chosen by you Corsec Eye. The event ends on the 10th of August, so fill up your stocks of credits and fragments and get to crafting. You often can't see Phantom on the battlefield, but now he's probably going to be cloaking up a little bit less so he can look like a badass with his new Obsidian Operative loadout cards. This will be hitting the game next week for a limited time only. To celebrate, we're giving you the chance to win one of 3 bundle packs, which includes the man himself and his 3 Obsidian Operative loadout cards. Just follow the link in the description and do the thing. Also next week with the update, keep an eye on the main menu. We're going to be tweaking how some things work. With the recent update, we're now able to start doing live tests of casual matchmaking. For those of you that don't know, casual matchmaking will replace Quick Join as the main way to play Dirty Bomb. It will improve match balance and will also allow you to party up with 1 to 5 of your friends. Backfilling has now been added, which allows the empty slots left by players who drop out of matches to be replaced, and we've completely overhauled the netcode and UI code, giving us flexibility with future functionality. We don't have the exact details on when the next test will be just yet, however keep an eye on our social channels and forums for news on this. Have you ever been playing and then something random happens? Well, DD Gaming has, and has compiled them into a series of videos. Here is number 4 in that series, so check it out, enjoy, and drop them a like. Next weekend, DB Nation are hosting their Summer Cup. If you haven't signed up yet, head over to their website and maybe you'll walk away with the $100 prize. Last week, the most reported issues were ranked, game performance, and maps. In our update last week, we completely reworked how the game handles networking. This is to improve the system, increase performance, and to future-proof us for new features. And whilst on the whole this went mostly well, Ranked encountered some issues, which would only rear their ugly heads once released in the wide open world. We pushed some bug fixes live yesterday to resolve some of these issues, and we're still working to correct the rest that popped up. Thank you for reporting them to us. Because of that, we've been able to fix them more quickly and efficiently. For game performance, we're always keeping an eye on these metrics and are working on a few things in the background to try and improve your frame rates. More information will come on those closer to their release. And for maps, we're always keeping an eye on how much they're played and if there's any areas which could be improved. This is exactly why Dome is currently being reworked. What do you think of the Phantom Obsidian Operative? Let us know in the comments. And remember to enter the giveaway too. You don't want to miss out on being one of the first to own it, do you?
Bollocks! I don't remember doing so.
Well, you did.
You are going to park your rear in the car and keep mum. And you are going to behave during the tour.